Hello everyone, my name is Jayan and today we are the 21st of May and this is the 71st video that I'm talking to a camera to prepare for Casper test. So first and foremost, as always, I want to do a video update. I try to speak right now with a lot of accentuations on the words that I want to put emphasis on. However, I find it really easy in the early of the morning where my brain is very clear. I try to explain everything in my own words, and I was able to do it very frequently with ease. However, as the day progresses, I always keep that in mind and try to practice that if with all my effort, but sometimes it just wouldn't fit. I keep continuing my old habit of talking with a lot of monotone. This is definitely something I would like to change, and I also noticed that my speed of speaking is very slow. So I will try to think in my head a little bit faster, try to make it turn a little bit faster. But at the end of the day, it's always harder. As you can look on my face, I'm tired as shit. So let's keep trying to focus on the accentuations of my speech and the fluidity. That's always the important things to look at. Second of all, we want to do a life update. So today there are several things that I want to mention. First, I found a bioscience officer at Force Canada, and it was really an interesting role. I feel like it can be potentially something that interests me a lot, and I will definitely give it a good try. Second of all, today we worked about 9 hours, 6 hours in the clinic and 3 hours as private patients. And today at the clinic it was not easy at all. There's a lot of communication to be done, a lot of verifications, and there were also people are being a little bit anxious, and they keep repeating the same thing, although I try my best to reassure and comfort them. Where also the thing that they are repeating is not really in my control, and I think from the feedback that I got from a colleague, it was really because of themselves. However, I think life happens, and people are just very caught up in their mind sometimes, and I definitely understand that we don't expect everybody to be perfect. So there are cases that will be very easy, there will be cases that are very hard. And in terms of my private patients, I think we get one harder and one easier case. I wouldn't say to deal with, but to think about, because definitely I will need a lot of more thinking and researching after another one. So there is one that I had with a very solid base of training, and everything really just went super smoothly, and there's nothing painful, there is nothing stressful, and everything is going straight to the point, with some little modification of course. However, in the other case, that I have to make sure lots of times that, okay, is this movement causing pain, is it that okay, and despite with a lot of warm-ups and activations, I think my clients still experience a lot of pain, and which I definitely want to eliminate. But it is a very hard process. However, I think I've identified several regions that I suspect of some tightness of muscles, and that will be the stretching and everything I prescribe to work on that. We shall see any future update whether it goes better or not, but for now this is the best I can do, and I think definitely I would look into this case tomorrow, because I'm really at the end of my break today. I also have to go to the gym later on, so right now we are 7:30. I plan to go around 8, start the workout at 8, and then at 9 go home, wash, sleep, call it a day. And tomorrow we'll have Sankaset, so this is time to relax a little bit, hope so. But talking to people is very difficult and taking a lot of my energy. However, I wouldn't complain about it because I'm compensated. So let's keep that moving forward. So today's Casper test. Alright. So today's scenario, it is Sunday morning and you just stepped out of the train station to walk towards the language school that you learned Latin at. You have a Latin test in the first period and you have been preparing for it for a few weeks. A few moments after you step out of the train, an individual starts getting verbal with you. His speech lacks clarity, his eyes are bright red, and the syringes fell out of his pocket, indicating to you that this individual is under the influence of drugs. Alright. So, sorry, just let me start the timer. Okay, so I will have, here we go, 30 seconds to reflect on everything, and here we go. Okay, so here is the 1 minute is up. The first question is that what would you do in this situation? So the timer will start in 10 seconds. In this scenario, the first thing I will do is to gather more information with regard to the situation or the mental state of this person. So just because of there is a syringe, there is red eyes and verbal inclarity, doesn't mean that the person is 100% under the influence of drug. It can be due to seasonal allergies, it can be due to other medical factors, etc. So I will definitely have to have a non-confrontational communication with them to further discover the situation. If we find out after communicating with the person that they are clearly unconscious with some mental fog and they are unable to communicate, then I will have to call for the help of station employees or even police officers to make sure that he is safe or does not cause any further public damage. Second question, what may have caused the person to become addicted to drugs? Alright, so the minute starts now. I think there can be many reasons that one person can be addicted to a drug. First, I believe it can be a mental issue. So some people can be very stressed in life or very anxious, and they must rely on certain substance to cope against the stress that is constantly behind them, as the drug serving the drug as a coping mechanism. Also, it can be due to addiction. So they have used this drug without knowing the full information behind that, and they become addicted to a certain drug involuntarily, or it can be due to other social pressures, or maybe they are involved in a group of person that uses those kind of drug, which pushes the continuous usage of this kind of substance. Third question, who are the other stakeholders that might be influenced in this situation? The first stakeholder that I think about here are the people that are also taking the train with me, so the big public. If someone is under the influence of a drug. They can be doing irrational actions, which includes the possibility of harming the property of others, harming even the lives of others. So this is definitely the first thing. The public safety is the first thing that I will consider here. The other stakeholders that I can think of are the teacher in my class. So due to the situation, I might miss the Latin test, and my teacher might be wondering what has been happening to us. And I believe the last stakeholder I want to mention is also the train property. So the company that runs the train service, and that can also be affected. So the public transport system. How can we reduce the rates of illegal drug consumption? I believe we can reduce the rate of illegal drug consumptions by many ways. First is by legal actions. So I think government should really take the lead of banning the access to those illegal substances, such as addictive drug, heroin, things like this. So those drugs can create a lot of mental issues, can create addictions, which are harmful for the society as a whole. So the production of those substances should be highly verified and banned. Also, we can educate people. We can throw a public educational lesson for free for the general community, for example, to educate people on what those drugs really are and the consequences of using them. We can also propose alternatives, such as doing sports, to relieve some mental pressures. And question 5, tell me about a time where you had to make a difficult decision. There was once a Friday afternoon after I have finished my shift, where I was about to leave my workplace. I saw an individual stuck in the elevator, and I could have just passed by them and go home, since it is the end of a Friday and I really want to enjoy the rest of my day and the weekend. I made a difficult decision to really help them and redirect them. So I think here I had to balance two different things, two different priorities. One is my own personal time and family, and the other is the time of an unknown, a stranger. And from this experience, I've learned that helping other people actually brings joy to me, rather than those little minutes that I have extra. So this is what I learned from this situation. Oh my god. Okay, so I think this is very superficial as a situation, but it is all I got. Sorry. So yeah, let me end here. I will see you tomorrow. I'm sick of it.